together today for a special event that we're having. But before we officially start the program, we are going to do a quick raffle draw. We're giving away some sets of Nu Skin products and GC. So if your name is called, please go ahead and go here in front to claim your prize. Okay, Ruel Villegas of Solar. Johnny Cristino, is that correct? Ayan. Congratulations. Ivan Dale Sandionco. And Zarina Blancaflor. Alright, so that's the first set pa lang of our raffle draw, so we'll have more later on. Okay, so who here have gone to a Nu Skin event already? Are you guys familiar with Nu Skin? Yes, but we have a lot more to share with you, and to do that, we are going to call on Mr. Martin Tupas, our Sales and Marketing Director.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy new day. That is actually what we say in Nu Skin. We would like to thank all of you, our friends, our partners from the media, for taking time and sharing this afternoon with us. We are truly grateful for having all of you here. Part of Nu Skin's vision is to improve lives through innovative products. And today, consistent with this vision, we are so excited to share with you our LumiSpa Accent. So I hope that before the day ends, all of you will get to try and experience the amazing benefits of this wonderful product. With that, thank you, good afternoon, and for more on LumiSpa Accent, please watch the video.
Hello, I am Dr. Helen Nags, Vice President for Personal Care, Global Research and Development for Nu Skin. Did you know the skin around your eye area is the thinnest on your body? It's approximately a third as thick as other facial skin. This means the thinness of the skin makes it so much more delicate and more prone to show discoloration. Even minor irritations or damage can make puffiness and under-eye bags more obvious. This is why the earliest signs of daily stress and aging appear here too, under your eye area. It's so important to take care of the skin around your eyes. That's why we developed ageLOC LumiSpa Accent. This new innovative attachment builds upon the LumiSpa movement technology, but it focuses on this really delicate eye area. It moves at that same great frequency and stimulates skin in the same way as the ageLOC LumiSpa, but the smaller rotational angle design makes ageLOC LumiSpa Accent a perfectly gentle way to target the skin around the eyes. The tip, made of the gentlest silicone available, has a unique topography with offset peaks and valleys. You'll see that when you look at it. It oscillates back and forth to precisely move the skin without overstimulating the sensitive skin. ageLOC LumiSpa Accent is paired with the ageLOC LumiSpa Idealize. This is a topical eye cream that cushions between the tip of the accent and the skin, creating that optimal grip and slip for the device and for magic things to happen. This effective eye cream was specifically developed to maximize the benefits of accent and features key ingredients that target the skin around the eye area. So let's talk about some of those key ingredients now. Of course, we have our AgeLock proprietary blend. This is our anti-aging complex that targets the sources of aging to preserve the look of youth. That's really important. Then we have plankton extract. This extract is rich in amino acids. So amino acids are essential building blocks and components of healthy, youthful-looking skin. It can help decrease the appearance of pigmentation in the under-eye area, visibly increase skin tonicity, and support the skin's natural recovery process. Skin Brightening Complex. This blend of plant oils and minerals reflects light and helps make your eyes appear brighter. Antioxidant complex protects the skin against daily environmental stress. And something that we find naturally in the skin, squalene, we've also incorporated this into Idealize. Squalene is naturally found in the skin lipid barrier, and it prevents moisture loss while restoring skin's suppleness and flexibility.
All right, so we are going to actually be learning more from someone that we have invited and who flew all the way from Provo, Utah. And so that is just the tip of the iceberg. But to introduce our special guest, I would like to introduce our manager for marketing for Nu Skin Philippines, Ms. Rose Castillon Pamorca.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you again for coming over, and we're so glad that you're gonna spend the afternoon with us today. So at this point, I'm very honored to introduce to you our Chief Scientific Officer of Nu Skin. He leads more than 75 scientists in the Nu Skin company. He leads the development of products, and he's here, as what Ren said, all the way from the US, just to spend the afternoon with you today. He is a noted author. He has published a lot of articles, reviews, and books on pharmacological research, and one of it was a New York best-selling book, which is The Aging Myth. And he also got his doctorate degree in pharmacology from the University of London. So I'm very, very pleased to introduce to you today our Chief Scientific Officer, Executive Vice President of Nu Skin for Product Development, and Dr. Joe Chang. Please watch the video.
What happens when the product works. So
we could spend hours talking about this. Hi guys, nice to see you. It's freaking amazing. But if they do influence those genes, I think
Afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Fine.
Pretty good?
Good.
I noticed that you had a video, not me, but previous with one of my colleagues, Dr. Helen Nags, explaining the LumiSpa to all of you. So you should probably cover most of the points you'd like to know. But let me go through some of the points on this one and maybe tell you a bit about the company and see how we managed to come up with this new technology called the LumiSpa, and hopefully from there you can have a good background of our ability to innovate in beauty, and also we have another product line that we are focusing on nutritional supplements. So that's great. I'm not sure. I think I'm not supposed to sit down. Let's talk about this a little bit. So anyway, you know, the anti-aging market, that's what an area that we have been focusing on. for many, many years now. In fact, ever since the inception of the company, which was about 30 years ago, it has always been the focus of Nu Skin on the anti-aging market. And I think we've been proven right. Over the years, you can see it continues to grow. And not just in the US, but everywhere in the world, globally. And we suspect that this is going to go to almost $1 trillion worth of revenue from the beauty products. So, there's always a saying, right? Nobody minds getting old, but everybody minds getting ugly. So I think that drives this interest in always trying to stay young, or at least stay healthy as far as the face is concerned, and perhaps the rest of the body. So we've done a lot of analysis of the marketplace. Obviously, as a company, we like to know how we can compete, what categories we're supposed to compete, and so on. And these are all the different areas surrounding the skincare business or industry. And sometimes when you look at a huge, it's sometimes quite obvious that, things like, I'll just pick one, the biggest one, skincare, and that's $124 billion. Skincare will obviously include things like lipstick, foundation, all these eyeshadow, and so on and so forth. And that's why it's such a big category, because every woman would like to use that too. But in terms of the rate of growth, when you see how it's growing, and we want to enter a market that's much growing than actually slowing down or maturing. And you can see the beauty device category, although albeit a bit small, around 2 billion, it has the highest rate of growth among all the skincare types of products. And hence the reason why we think as we go forward, while the market today is small relative to things like lipstick and so on, but this is an area where you can actually grow it and be able to become a leader in the beauty device area. So, and that's the rationale, if you will, why we are so interested. Now, in Nu Skin, I think you can hear all of us. Do I need this microphone? I do? Okay, all right. Anyway, when you look at Nu Skin, and it's important to sort of maybe understand how we innovate. We have close to about 75 scientists. Dr. Helen Nags is one of them. And we have this R&D center in Provo. That's our corporate headquarters. And then we have another one in China. And I'll show you pictures of those R&D centers. But more importantly, we don't just leverage our internal scientists. We also leverage all the academic research that's going on in terms of discovering new skin technologies. And that's what we mean when we collaborate with academic institutions. There will be universities and so on and so forth, professors of dermatology, so that we can actually get their insights and get those insights and combine with what we do in-house to truly innovate for the future. Now, we also, sometimes when we look around, obviously we don't sort of think we know everything as far as scientific research on new skin technologies. So we do spend a lot of time also searching around the world to look for new technologies that other companies or other groups have discovered. And we bring that in-house as well. So that's the sort of how we innovate in Nu Skin. It's not just internally, but externally as well. So it's a combination of this that gives us the synergy and the power behind our innovation. And we invest quite a bit of it. So this is an example of this innovation center we built in the US. It's in a little town, relatively little. It's Provo in Utah. And that's roughly a $200 million kind of innovation center, and that's where we have all our scientists. And we innovate in the center. So you can see sometimes when we talk about science, right, and we say that the company is science-based, we want to make sure that we just don't talk about it, we actually do it. And you cannot do science. Science is one of those disciplines. I'm trained as a scientist, and it always fascinates to me when people say, well, we like to do science as well. But when I actually look at what they do, they don't really do it. They just talk about it. So science is not something you can talk. Science is something that you actually have to generate the data, and the only way to generate the data is to do scientific studies. So, and that's why we built this R&D center in Provo to make sure that we continue to do science and not just talk about the science. Here's another R&D center we have in China, in an area obviously close to Shanghai. There's our corporate headquarters in China, and that's another one. And the reason why we have a second R&D center in China is because in skincare, we have focused a lot on natural ingredients. And when we source natural ingredients from China, we want to make sure that those natural ingredients are pure and clean. And the only way that we can actually be comfortable and confident that it is actually clean, those raw materials that we use in our products, is to have them tested in China. And that's why, and tested not just outside, but actually tested by our own scientists. So that's one of the reasons why we built an R&D center in China. So all these things, innovation, are coming together. And over the last 5 years or so, we have been asking the question, right? And how many of you have heard of Clarisonic? Yeah, you must have, right? And you know that Clarisonic is a brush, right? Yes, kind of thing. And every time we sort of looked at the Clarisonic cleansing device, it was a cleansing device, we never felt comfortable that is something that we want to innovate on. That is, to innovate on a brush technology. So, for a variety of reasons, and I'll show you some of the reasons. So we say, is there another way to clean the face, but not just to clean the face, but also at the same time, while you're cleaning, you'll actually be able to treat your skin as well. So it's a cleansing treatment device that we were focusing on 5 years ago. Say, that would make a significant breakthrough in this beauty device area. So that's what we did. And so that's the insight that we have. And one of the things is, how do you do that? Because everybody thinks you say, just rub your skin, you can clean it. But what we have found is that if you use a special type of motion, and this is called a micropulse oscillation, is a fancy scientific word to describe, that if you can rotate something on your, move in two opposite directions on your skin, you can actually get your skin cells to produce anti-aging proteins. That's really the insight that we have, and say, okay, we're going to make something really different. Nobody has thought of making something that one surface is going in the opposite direction from the other surface. That's what we call a micropulse oscillation. And this is a video, and I hope you can play, to show you what this MPO technology looks like in action. So the inner one, you notice, is going in an opposite direction to the outer rim. Okay? So, and when it does that constantly and regularly on the skin, you can actually, we have scientific studies to show, you can actually get the skin cells to produce these anti-aging proteins like collagen, elastin. And you can get a much higher level of production in the skin cells so that you can keep the skin healthy. So that's what we discovered. And more importantly, it's a gentle action. It is something that doesn't seem to damage the skin, unlike the Clarisonic brush. So I'll show you another video here to really demonstrate the difference between the two types of cleansing motion on the skin. All right. Now that red stuff is Jello. You guys all know what Jello is, right? It's a stuff. It's soft. It's actually interesting. It's got about the same kind of consistency as your skin. So it's a good model for this to use to see whether there is a difference between a brush technology versus the MPO technology. So once again, when you turn it on, okay, play. All right. So here's some gel. usually apply onto the face. And here's one type of brush that you use on the jello. Okay, this is for cleaning. You can see it literally takes some of the jello off. Alright, here is the one that is closer to the corresponding brush technology. You recognize the shape of it. And this is vibration technology. And once again, down here. And here's the LumiSpa with the gel. You can see the 3 different technologies, 3 different results, and obviously I think the one with the LumiSpa, causes the least damage to the skin. And that's why we're pretty excited why we think the LumiSpa is a far superior cleansing remover. So, and that's not all. If you ever use a brush technology, one of the challenges with it is it's awfully difficult to clean it after you use, especially when you take makeup off. So we have used some fluorescing. In other words, this is makeup that if you look under the UV light, it shows up as white. All right. So here's a picture that when you clean your face with a brush technology, all the makeup is still there. All right. So, and that's on the right. That's what you did. And when you clean it, it really doesn't come off. Whereas with the LumiSpa, when you wash it under the tap, you can easily remove most of the makeup. So another difference, the cleaning or the cleaning of your device is much easier and simpler with the LumiSpa. By contrast, obviously the brush is so difficult. In fact, even after the first one-time use, it's so difficult to get it off. So that's another difference. It's easy. Now I've mentioned, right, when we sort of starting to focus on the oscillation technology, we wanted to make sure that in addition to cleansing, we can also treat the skin. So that's what we have. We can renew the skin, and while at the same time providing a very deep cleansing benefit with the LumiSpa technology. So it's a dual action. It's not just about cleaning, it's also about renewing your skin while it's moving and being used on the skin surface. So that's what we have, and when you renew, obviously, you can exfoliate and you can remove all the rough, dead skin cells, so you have smoother skin even after the first time using it. And you increase the cell turnover, the skin. When you turn over the cells on the skin, it tends to keep the skin much younger. And then obviously, your skin doesn't look as tired. And the cleansing, it's sort of obviously it will purify and clean it, and importantly, it will also go deeper into your pores. And that's important because sometimes while you think it's cleaned with your hands, it doesn't go enough into the pores to take out the debris inside the pores. That's another cleansing action that you can achieve with the LumiSpa. And obviously it's very gentle. And these are the 4 types. We recognize the reality that not every one of us has exactly the same type of skin. Some are more sensitive than others. So this cleansing action and this motion requires a gel, and we have developed 4 different types of gel. For example, we have a normal one, we have a dry one, we have an oily one, and importantly, all the way to the right, we have a gel developed for acne and sensitive skin. And together with that, we have also another 3 surfaces. I'm not sure whether we see it, but it's fundamentally that head can come off, and you can put a softer head on it, so you can get easy. When you get the LumiSpa, you are provided with 3 different types of heads that you can choose whichever that you find the most comfortable. So the first step is only 2 minutes, a quick one. It's not take forever. Sometimes when it gets up in the morning, we obviously don't spend our whole life in the morning in the bathroom. So it's only take about 2 minutes to achieve the benefits of the LumiSpa. And we have finished with that. The 7 benefits you see are the ones listed here. And, you know, in aggregate, when you look at all the benefits that you get, at the end of you using the LumiSpa, what you see is the face that glows, and it's a face that looks healthy. And that's important. And what you get in 2 minutes, literally, some of you may have experienced the demo that we had, but I think even after the first time use, you can actually feel the difference before and after the LumiSpa application. So, $20 million. It's not a cheap device for us developed over the last 5 years. And what we did with that, obviously, the $20 million is spent on doing clinical studies. After all, I mentioned to you, we can talk this is the greatest device ever, but if we don't have the data and the study results to prove it, it's still just cheap talk. And we didn't want to do that. So we done all the clinical studies. As I mentioned, the head comes off, and you can switch between heads, and obviously those cleansing gels. These are 5 different options you can choose from to use on your skin, depending on your skin type. All right. Quickly then, oops, if I go back. So here's our latest edition. Now, I mentioned to you the head comes off. The reason why we designed the head that way, because we knew even as we developed this, there are other future heads that we can put on. So we want to make sure that it's detachable, so that when you take it off, you can easily put another head on. And over the next couple of days in the Philippines, we are launching what we call the LumiSpa Accent Head. And this is a much smaller head, because we know that around the eye area, the skin is very thin and it's extremely sensitive. And more importantly, it's very difficult to get a big disc to get close to your eyes. So we designed and developed a much smaller head, and also designed what we call an ideal eyes gel to use for the skin area very close to the eyes. And here is what the before and after look like, particularly. This is a clinical study, and you can see with the gel together with this new, much smaller head. This is just an example of a before and after picture using the LumiSpa Accent. Okay. So, and I think, is that it? Yeah. So that's the latest. This is the latest edition. Other things, obviously, it's detachable. Other detachable heads are under development, and in the future we'll be launching more. So we feel that this is a very versatile beauty device. It's not just fixed on doing something, that you can actually plug and play, if you will, with this particular beauty device. Okay. So that's what we have, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. How's that? We stop right here.
All right, once again, that was Dr. Joe Chang. Can we give him a round of applause? And as he mentioned, we are now opening the floor. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask our superstar scientist. Does anyone have any questions?
It's okay. Is it recommended for daily use?
Is it recommended for?
Daily use.
Yes, yes. This is used every time. In fact, it's recommended to be used twice a day. One in the morning when you get up, and one in the evening before you go to sleep.
All right, we have another over here.
My question is, what are the benefits of HLAC LumiSpa Accent?
Okay, the benefits is, one of the most important we notice, right, is that sometimes when you have a really active night where you don't go to sleep and you're out there, I don't know, doing all kinds of active things in the evening, you know, dancing away, drinking and all that. And in the morning, when you wake up, your eye area particularly get puffy and have dark areas. And we feel that with the use of the LumiSpa Accent, you actually can reduce the puffiness and the dark areas below the eyes. Yeah. And also around the corner of the eyes, for example, in the States, maybe over here in Asia, it's less prominent, And that is they get a lot of crow's feet. You know what crow's feet are? These are the wrinkles around the corner of the eyes. So that one is also this LumiSpa accent together with the Ideal Eyes. That is a good one because it's easier to get much closer to those crow's feet with this particular attachment.
How fast can we see the results?
I think within a couple of applications, you'll be able to see, depending on how dramatic the puffiness is, and if you use carefully enough with the 2 minutes and applying the gel and then using it, you ought to see some significant improvement after the first time use.
I have a question with regards to the plant extract. This is something that I don't do often in skincare. When it comes to the ingredients.
Oh, the
Can you
ingredients.
expound further on how it helps decrease the pigmentation around the eye area?
Okay. Pigmentation, depending on the eye area, it's not due to pigmentation in other areas. Other areas, the pigmentation is actually due to the concentration of protein called melanin. Yeah? So that's why it looks darker and you have a dark spot, if you will. Especially the bags around it, actually it should be referring to darkness rather than pigmentation. And that is the pooling of water and something below the eyes. And because the skin under the eyes is extremely thin, the blood is not moving fast enough. So what you're seeing as darkness under the eye, the eye bags we call them, is actually blood pooling and not moving fast enough. So with the use of the Ideal Eyes and the LumiSpa accent, you can move and massage and get all the blood away so that you can return to normal. So those ingredients we have in the gel, the movement helps to penetrate and constrict those blood vessels to make them thinner so they have less blood and therefore less darkness and blemishes around that area. Got it? You got it? Okay, good.
I have a question for sir. Here, yeah.
Oh, you're the guy sitting
Yes.
among the nice, pretty women. Okay, cool.
So can men use the H-Lock LumiSpa accent?
Can
Can
I?
men use the
Men like to look pretty too nowadays, right? Right? It's not just about women. Absolutely. This is what we call gender neutral. Yeah. In fact, that was when you look at the 7 different types, we actually specifically had one that's black. That's the man one. Women don't like black. So yeah. Is that right? Yeah, you're right, right?
I like that.
You like black? So we actually launched another one recently that's pink. Yeah. And I have another one in Hong Kong. They're really into Hello Kitty. Another Hello Kitty one. So yeah. So anyway, yes, it's absolutely suitable, especially when you drink too much of your semi-well beer. Yeah. So you know how it is, right? Hangover, get up in the morning, yeah, nobody wants to look at you, so this will be good.
For how long the device will last? Do you recommend changing it after a year or?
The actual body, everybody got a question, right? So how long will it last? The actual body will last forever. It's the detachable head that you have to change.
Okay, every when?
And
can
we
you
sort of
change
recommend every 6 months or
it?
so.
Every 6 months.
Yeah, to change it.
And where can you get this device?
From New Skin. Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. Do you want to ask a question? Where do you get in the Philippines?
Yes. And for how much is it?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. LumiSpa accent comes in a package with the LumiSpa device. So it retails at 20,000, but that's with the LumiSpa device, LumiSpa accent, the attachment, and the LumiSpa cleanser and the Ideal Eyes. So it's a set already that you can use for you. And you can get it from all Nu Skin distributors. And also we have our walk-in centers all over Metro Manila. We have in Cebu and we also have in Pampanga. If you know anyone who is a Nu Skin distributor, you can get it from them. Or you can be a Nu Skin distributor yourselves. just sign up with us. It's free sign up, and just show your ID at the end. You'll be a member of Nu Skin.
Alright, thank you.
You got it?
Another question.
Yes. Hi.
I'm Trisha from Business Mirror. Just want to ask if the LumiSpa is safe for any age group. Like, can a 16-year-old use the LumiSpa?
Yeah, this LumiSpa can be used by anybody, by any age, gender neutral. I've already mentioned to you. There's no age. Now, if you're a teenager, and for certain folks, when they're starting to get some acne, then there's an aid that we just launched for them. They should use that aid, and we also have an acne-focused gel that they can use to help sort of treat their acne as well. Yeah, there's no age obstacle to using this LumiSpa. In fact, we think that this is the safest beauty device on the marketplace. It's no issue. You can even use it on a baby's bottom. Sorry,
Any more questions for Dr. Joe?
no more?
What inspired you guys to have this kind of device? Different from the other that are existing nowadays.
Yeah, well, the inspiration comes from the fact that we never saw a cleansing device that is truly effective. It's always seems to be suffering from a limitation. You know, when Clarisonic, I guess I should use their name or whatever. Maybe I should say, when the brush technology came out, you know, we knew it can clean, but we also knew that it's very difficult to clean on a practical level. And many of the customers or consumers will not be able to see what happens in that brush. None of you guys do any house painting in the Philippines, right? In the US, I mean, we don't have any what we have to paint. You know, when you dip a paintbrush onto paint, and you after painting, you try to wash it. It's almost impossible to get rid of all the paint and restore the brush to the original cleanliness. So it has always bothered us in our group to say, hey, we know all of you need to clean the face. We know that you have to clean. So that was one thing. Can we make something or develop something that is easy to clean, gentle on the face, while providing a lot of deep cleansing? Okay. And then we say, okay, if we achieve that, can we also treat the skin at the same time? Those were the two important questions that our scientists asked and say, okay, what do we need to do? And unfortunately, it took 5 years and $20 million. Not many companies are willing to. Not many, companies are willing to invest that kind of money in research. Okay. Yeah, our ageLOC brand. You see many of our products. Obviously, in addition to this, we have other skincare products as well. When you see the brand name ageLOC, now it has become globally has become a $5 billion brand for us. And this LumiSpa, since we launched it about roughly a year ago, it has become the largest selling beauty device, and we have sold over 1 million of them. And we hope all the Filipinos, you guys would like it too. You're such a pretty people, so I think it can only help you make you even prettier, right?
Yeah. Is this just the beginning? Are we expecting, like, last year came out with LumiSpa and now with the accent? Is this like a trend that we're really following, that you're creating of getting wetter appetites for skincare and beauty technology? Are we coming out with more things to use? Because I know you already have one for the body, so.
Oh, you know that?
Yes.
Which one is that?
The one, the attachment for the body.
Oh, you know about
and I know the already, like, the dispenser that actually just
Oh.
curates
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Okay, you know all that.
Yeah, so I want to know more.
Okay.
Since you're the R&D guy, what do you have in store for us? Like, what do we have to look forward to in the next few years?
Are you the only one who knows all that, or how about the rest of you? I sort of took that out for this in the interest of time. This is not the only beauty device we have. We have two others that she was hinting at. One is called a galvanic spa, and that uses a little bit of electrical technology to open up the pores to put into the skin our active products. And there's one for the body too, to remove things like cellulite. Yeah, maybe none of you are ready yet, but as soon as you have some babies, sometimes cellulite appears, right? Yeah. So anyway, so we have that device, and then we have another one that's called ageLOC Me, that automatically every morning when you put your hand underneath, there's a hole in the device, it will dispense a dollop of skin cream. You don't have to touch anything. You know, most of the skin products, you notice that it's in a jar and you open it and you put your dirty fingers in there. The problem, you think your fingers are clean, but invariably when you keep on doing it, you start to contaminate your jar. It's not fresh. So the ageLOC Me doesn't need you to touch any of the lotion. Every time you put your hand underneath and you come up and dispense it, it's a fresh dose of skin cream. So we have three devices that we have developed. In the future, we think among these devices, we are going more and more into personalizing your skincare. Our interest is, we are also doing some science on the genetic side of things. We can tell, based on the genetic profile, what sort of products that you should use to keep your skin healthy. And we can just take this genetic test. I'm giving you a bit of a future. This is future coming, right? That I can, you know what a Q-tip is? In the States, we call it a Q-tip. It's the cotton bud, right? So I can just give you a stick of cotton bud and swipe your inside of your cheek, and I put it into a machine, and it will tell me what your genetic profile is, and especially I say skin, and it will drive me to the skin and say, okay, this person requires these types of products.
Never have to second guess.
You don't have to second guess. You don't really, eventually, don't even have to answer any more questions. It's truly personalization, personalized skincare. That's what we are working on, and hopefully one day can deliver that to you. Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to take 20 million.
It would take more than that. But women are strange people too, including my wife. Yeah. Don't tell her. Because from what we observe too, skincare for women is not about just high tech. You also need what we call an experience. All right? And therefore, we have to make sure that by going so high tech, we don't eliminate the experiential piece of skincare for all of you. You know, and they're not just women. I think in general for men too. By the way, guy. You know, but so you know, skincare is a product category that you really need to experience, and that includes all your senses: your smell, your touch, and your feel. And then that's something that we have to do. So he can tell you, oh, your genetic profile needs to, but we have to make sure that we don't remove that piece.
All right, any more questions for Dr. Joe?